Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly and maintenance on this guy. This is the CJRB Pyrite. This is also a relatively dirty knife, by my standards certainly, because this has been getting used, and used a little bit harder than usual. I've been really trying to put this guy through paces because it's good. It's surprisingly good. A little bit of a spoiler alert there, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like babying it, etc. Right? And so I actually took it out in the garden and was using it there. This thing has carved its share of succulents, etc. And apparently, after one such situation, I had kind of put this aside, figuring I would clean it up full of dirt and whatnot. My wife just decided, you know what, heck, I'll run it under the sink. And so this guy has been ridden hard and put to bed wet. And so I'm really curious, actually, to see what the inside of it is like. For what it's worth, the action is still fine, so it's not like it's a particularly concerning sort of thing. It's just gotten a little bit of, well, use. And maybe a harder and or dirtier use than usual. So there is that. You're going to notice that as we're taking this guy apart, but it seems to be falling apart as is. It is a button lock, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that the moment I take something off, this button's going to come flying at my head. This is why I'm wearing a protective Batman mask. That's not actually why, but it sure makes it sound better to my therapist, you know. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, we'll pop that off, and then it should just be a question of kind of letting things loosen up here. Okay, I'm holding on to the button here. There you go. Spring is out, and there we go. Okay, so we do see some remnants of the garden in here, certainly, but nothing too tragic. Looks like the time in the kitchen sink has done it some good. We do see a little tiny bit of corrosion on the blade here, which, again, doesn't make... that I sort of don't fault the knife for it, but I'm, was also a little curious about how the AR-RPM9 performs in that sort of situation. It's actually a steel that I was initially a little bit kind of panning of it, but I've come to respect it as a budget steel option. It's a pretty decent one, right? Is it going to be, super high-end, oh my god, edge retention forever? No, but it's pretty easy to sharpen and strop up and whatnot. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty decent choice, at least. Well, that's strange. Only on this side, there is a single washer. Right? I believe that's true. So there is a washer on the clip side of the knife. So I'm going to go on ahead and... how do I express this to myself? What I'm going to go on ahead and do is I'm going to take take the clip side. I'm going to clean it up a little bit just to make sure everything's kind of good to go. And then I'll put the washer on it just so I remember that. In my more cynical moments, I would think that maybe the knife is not centered without this washer. And so they've done that to fix that. But, who knows? And this is actually going against the blade itself. So what I'm actually going to do to remind myself of that fact is I'm going to clean up one of the bearings here. And I'm very curious, if you have one of these bad boys, do you have a washer on your clip side only? So I'm going to drop that in there. Actually, I should probably lubricate while I'm in here. By the way, if you're curious about any of the tools I'm using, ranging from this knife pivot lube to this spudger from iFixit, to the screwdrivers and whatnot, nickshabazz.com/tools has all of the information that you need, and probably a bunch that you don't. So anyways, I'm just going to go on ahead and put... come off it. I'm trying to lift the freaking washer off of a rubber mat ain't straightforward. There we go. To use this guy to lift it off. But if you're curious about any of these tools I'm using, nickshabazz.com/tools. There you go. Alright, so now that's on there, and when I go to grab this half of the knife, it'll come with it, and everything will be in its natural positioning. Okay, let's go on ahead and take this out of here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And, yeah, this is a knife, if I may be meta for a moment. Of course I may, because... on the one run in the channel, so to speak. But anyways, being meta for a moment, this is a, but not like the evil kind with threads. But anyways, I digress. This is this is a knife I actually have taken a long time to review, right? It's been a while, and a big part of that is I want to do it right. I want to do it justice, and I often, especially on the budget end, I'm hesitant to just, say, wow, great, amazing, because A, so many people do that, and in many cases, they genuinely believe it. But also I want to make sure that I'm not missing something, that it's not like going to fall apart, something like that, because whether or not my recommendation actually carries any weight to anybody, it's important to me to act as if it did, which makes... That's simultaneously humble and egotistical. So go ahead, if you like me, read it one way. If you don't like me, read it the other. Anyways, I digress. So this is... I've been really trying my best to make sure that I am doing this properly. By the way, one thing I'm going to show you here. If you try to install the button and then the blade, you're going to have a bad time. And if you try to install the blade, then the button, you're often going to have a bad time. So what you kind of want to do is install them both together. You want to kind of put the blade such that it is in this little gap of the button here. And then kind of drop the whole thing. And you want to arrange the spring properly. Come here, spring. I know spring is sprung, but you don't have to be that enthusiastic. At this point, fall is damn near springing. Costco's got Halloween decorations out. It's springing. But anyways, so then you kind of want to put these down together such that the blade holds in. Are the tolerances such that that doesn't matter here? Okay, looks like they are. But anyways, this way the blade, if I have it sort of not fully open or fully closed, is holding the button in place, and the button is sort of holding the blade in place. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just drop this on here. A little bit of lubrication here. And it was probably too much, but what else is new? And I'm also going to put a little bit of lubrication around the pivot itself, such that that can soak in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in the liner here. And see, the liner, among its many functions, restrains the button. And that allows me to just not have to worry so much about that button going kersproing and flying off into the middle of the nowhere. So that's cool. Then I'm going to use a little bit of thread locker here. And by the way, we're looking at a T8 for the pivot here, Torx T8 drive. And we are looking at a T6 for the back screws there, as well as likely for the clip. So I'll tighten that down partially. And I have arranged my screws, although these appear to be the same screw. I arranged them such that I took them off the knife, or as I took them off the knife, such that I know which ones go where. Now that I've gotten the garden out of this, the action should be even better, and the action was already pretty good. But anyways, I was saying that I took a long time to do this review because I wanted to make sure I was sure and make sure I wasn't going to say nice things about something that was pulling the wool over my eyes, so to speak, and by God, it actually seems good. Okay, that's got some blade play, so let's tighten this pivot down further. Okay, that's pretty tight. In fact, that's too tight. So let's loosen that up a smidge. That's feels maybe a scotch tight. Let me de-scotch it. It's a metric scotch, of course. No play. No, I think I might have pinched that washer a little bit. Or just rearranged it. No blade play. Yeah, we're good. This is all set here. The last thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take a polishing cloth real quick, and I'm going to, this is just a normal polishing cloth for jewelry here. I'm just going to attack that little bit of corrosion here. And removed. This part is very dangerous here, trying to clean corrosion off the edge of a blade. Like, technically, I could just sharpen the knife up, and that would get rid of it, too. But what I'm doing is I'm running my finger very much parallel and not pulling backwards on the blade. And that removes that. Is there any else? Yeah. This part's straightforward. I don't feel like this is serious rust. It's just a little bit of staining. Which is a reminder that, well, stainless steels are they stain less. They're not stainless. All right, so we are now officially good to go. I'm going to go on ahead and just clean the blade off with a little bit of eyeglass cleaner here. Because clearly these are eyeglasses. Do not put these on your eyes, please. I really hope I don't have to say that, but there we go. Yeah, this now is back to normal. Actually, I'm realizing that it was in good shape still, even with the gunktion in there. So, we are dead centered. The action is, yeah, that's damn good. A damn good knife. So keep an eye out for the review in which I'm going to tell you that fact. So anyways, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of your day, and that this made you happy. Right. Bye now.